We still have a couple minutes. We're gonna wait 'cause we're official. Let's hopefully Jack's here for this first one.
Oh, yeah.
I got 7 o'clock on my watch. All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order.
Johnston,
Here.
Jacobs, Watts,
Here.
Allen, Renfro.
Here. Minutes? Everybody had a chance to look at them?
Yeah, move to approve.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Renfro.
Yes. I'd like to make an amendment to the adoption of the agenda. I'd like to table items 3, items 10 and 11 for the next council meeting.
3, 10,
And 11. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Well, 11,
What's
where's
the,
the letter from you guys?
I think that's in 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
It
11.
says miscellaneous matters from the mayor and the city council.
okay,
Is that 11?
yeah,
Okay, so yeah,
3,
11 's
10,
fine.
11, okay. So I need somebody to move to approve it as amended.
Move to approve the amended agenda?
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Renfro.
Yes. All right, presentations. If I could have whoever would like to come up here, that would be spectacular. Come on up, everybody. Pass it on. Dr. Twilly. Yes, come on up, everybody, come on up. I'd love for you to be up here. Come on up,
Mr. Rome needs to be up here. Okay, Rome.
Donnie, you're not coming up here? First of all, on behalf of the council and myself, I would like to apologize. This was an oversight by myself. We did have the American History one last meeting, and I glanced over that on Friday, and by Sunday, when I looked at it officially, it was too late to change it for the meeting, and so that was my big goof on that. But immediately Monday called Danielle and said, hey, we got to get this fixed and done right. And I was invited to the church to read this. I was unable to do that, and so that's why I wanted to make sure we did it at the council chambers. I'm sorry it's like the last 2 days of the month, but it is not something that we meant to do or overlooked by any means. So I appreciate you guys being here tonight. A Warrensburg, Missouri proclamation. Whereas, across the nation, February is recognized as Black History Month. And in 1976, the designation was formally adopted to honor and affirm its importance. It is important to recognize the positive contributions to our society made by people of all heritage and races. And whereas, from the determination, hard work, intelligence, and perseverance of members of this community, there have been valuable and lasting contributions based on Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream for racial equality, and to keep the dream alive. And whereas, Black History Month should involve youth, as well as adults of all ethnic groups, and foster a spirit of cooperation and mutual respect among all our multi-ethnic communities. And whereas, during this month, all Americans are encouraged to reflect on the past successes and challenges and look to the future and continue to improve society so that we live up to the ideals of freedom, equality, and justice. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Casey R. Renfro, Mayor of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri, along with the other members of Warrensburg City Council, urge all Americans to work toward becoming a community in which all citizens are respected and recognized for their contributions and potential contributions to our community, the state, the country, and to the world. Dated February 27, 2017. Thank you all very much for being here. I really appreciate this. Dr. Chili takes care of my kids. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One more big round of applause.
How you doing, Morris? Good to see you.
Okay, resolutions. Item number 2. A resolution of the City of Warrensburg amending Resolutions 2092 concerning the personal policies of the city regarding both the travel and expense reimbursements within policy number 400.26, educational opportunities, and the boots and footwear reimbursement within policy number 400.25, boots and footwear. Greg, unusual to go to you on that one.
Members of the council, good evening. This resolution primary purpose is specifically to update and outline how the city of Warrensburg pays, for business travel. And it's really designed to assist employees in better identifying what reimbursable expenses are, along with providing direction on reporting those expenses incurred while conducting City of Warrensburg business. So the staff is recommending that you accept the revision of the travel expense portion of the educational opportunities policy. And really there's 5 areas of change. Again, it's identifying and providing direction for reimbursement for long distance travel and what long distance travel is compared to local. Identifying and providing more direction on what's included with the reimbursable expenses, specifically how things have changed in the last several years: air travel, rail, lodging, automobile rental, taxis, shuttles, all of that kind of stuff, parking fees. By providing guidance regarding the use of city vehicles versus private vehicles for business use, as well as what's considered reimbursable or non-reimbursable expenses, actually giving examples in that policy, and providing guidance regarding the documentation that's required in order to get those expenses reimbursed. So that's the first part. And then the second part, we're recommending also the exception of the boots and footwear portion of the uniforms and other wearing apparel policy. Basically all that is taking the maximum dollar amount from what it is today and raising it $15 to $90 to better accommodate the increase in prices of footwear.
The reason that was done is the previous city manager had actually already distributed a change in policy on that to take it from 75 to 90, but it never got recorded in the actual policy manual. And so we went ahead, and while we were making a change anyway, went ahead and put that in there. And I will also put a caveat in there. As required by the union contract, any changes to policy were required to give them at least 2 weeks notice. We did provide them notice of both of these changes. And in addition, I notified the union with regards to the footwear. So within the union contract, it specifies that they get reimbursed $75 for a pair of boots. And we gave them the option to choose whether they wanted to amend that piece of the contract or leave it as is. And they elected to leave it as is at this time. So just so the council is aware. So this policy change will affect all employees with the exception of the union employees.
This is an annual reimbursement.
Correct.
Yes.
Does that mean all employees other than union employees will get up to 90?
Yep.
Like they'll only get up to 75?
At the union's choosing, yes.
This is for like steel toe boots and
Any work boots.
Any other questions? Comments?
I move to adopt the resolution.
Johnston?
Yes.
Wise?
Yes.
Renfro?
Yes. All right, ordinances, first and second readings. We've tabled item 3. We removed item 4, an ordinance repealing section 8-60 Code of Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri. Rich.
Mr.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, a new Supreme Court rule is coming into effect in July that calls into question one of our restitution fund ordinances. With the Supreme Court's restructuring of municipal court practices, we are recommending repeal of this ordinance to assure compliance with those guidelines. It's a restitution fund. It brings in limited amounts of money, less than $10,000 a year, and is rarely used.
Any questions, comments?
You explained this to us before as something that if we don't do it, it becomes a real issue, as I understand it.
The judge has to certify each year that we're in compliance with these operating standards. The standards don't speak specifically to restitution funds, but they speak to certain statutory court costs, and just an effort to be conservative and to assure that we're completely out in front of compliance on everything. It's both the judge's feeling and mine that this is something that we just should do away with.
Have a motion?
Ordinance is second reading by title?
Yes.
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Renfro.
Yes.
This is an ordinance repealing Section 8-60 Code of Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri. This is for adoption or rejection. Johnston,
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Renfro.
Yes. Item number 5, an ordinance amending ordinance 5271 concerning the adopted annual budget for FY17 of the Parks and Recreation Fund as approved by Warrensburg Park and Recreation Board. Doty.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, at our February 22nd meeting, the Park Board reviewed the bid proposal that we received for the sandblasting and approved to hire Guinness's Construction Service Incorporated. And what that is sandblasting the lap pool at NASA. We sandblasted the Lazy River and the leisure pool last year. Thought we could get another year out of the lap pool, but we could not, and we needed to get this done before the 2017 season. And so what we're requesting is to utilize our reserves. Our reserves with, you have a snapshot that Matthew prepared for me. Our reserves with the restricted reserves of 640,000, we have 297,000 to spend, and that would bring us down. The cost of this is $53,750, so we would have $243,000 left. And we're asking to approve that. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
How many bids did you receive on?
I believe we had 5 or 6 bids.
Really?
Mhm.
Pretty widespread, or?
They were very widespread.
Okay. And the,
53,000 to 100,000.
pardon me?
Went from 50-some thousand to 100,000.
Okay, all right. That wasn't, the need to do that wasn't discovered when they drained the pool in
Yes,
the
but
fall?
we had already moved the budget through. We have to complete the budget by July, and when we drained the pool in late August is when it was
Okay.
decided that we needed to have this done.
Okay.
On your regular routine, I mean, this is a regular maintenance thing, right?
Uh,
Like, I mean, as far as like every 5 years or something like that, or is it
Every
not?
5 to 7 years, yes, you should.
What year is this?
This is the 6th year.
Any other questions, motions?
Nope.
No, just, a matter of routine maintenance, on the 6th year, to keep from coming back for a budget amendment, every 5 to 7, 6 is pretty much in between that, you budget to do that, but, okay.
I think, and I agree with Bob. I think the scary thing is this is somewhat of a consistent thing. You're coming back to us for budget amendments after the budget's already done, and this is one of those things that I think we all feel like should have been in the budget at this point. Is there anything you're taking out of the budget now at this point?
Not at this
I mean, I know you're dipping your reserves. Yeah. There's not much the council can say because it's already been approved by the board, correct?
They approved it to move forward
Yeah.
to request the reserves.
Is that typically the way it's supposed to happen, that your board approves it and then you come back and ask us to approve it, or is it supposed to be reversed?
Typically what happens is they approve the bid process, and what they ask me to do is come back and ask for the reserves.
So they approve the bid process, the
Yes.
board,
Mhm.
and then you moved forward with the 5 or 7 bids. And did you choose that, or the board choose that?
The board chooses that.
Chose that.
We make a
And then
recommendation.
is the board supposed to recommend back to the city council that these are the bids, this is the one that we approve or that we're looking at?
That's
Or do they
correct.
just approve that and then send it to the council?
Yes, what they're asking you to approve is the reserves, spending of the reserves.
I understand what they're asking, but I'm just trying to see the flow of how this is supposed to happen. Is this the way it's supposed to happen? We're supposed to see this after they've already approved it?
That's how it's happened in the past, yes.
Okay, Doug, can I get a clarification on that? Is there a?
I don't have the document in front of me. I'd have to go back and look at that resolution 1959, which I can do.
Okay.
My understanding is with CIP and IT issues,
Capital improvement, though.
capital improvement projects and IT issues, those are supposed to be brought to the city before the board takes official action. And then that way the park board has the opportunity to take that into consideration before a final decision is made.
So I guess that's my question, is really you're asking us to approve something that's already been approved. And we really don't have any recourse to say, well, you know what? I really don't agree with this at this point. I think this should have been part of the budget, but my recommendation back to the board doesn't matter because they've already approved it. So with our way of doing our partnership between us, the city, and you, the park board, there's a reason that we have that flow of communication, and that's not happening. And that hasn't happened on several other times. It's not happening on this time. And that's my question is, so they approved something that they're asking our approval on. Well, we didn't know anything about it. We don't know anything about it, and I don't approve it. But that doesn't matter because they're going to approve it whether. But I can't recommend to them, hey, here's what I recommend, because they've already approved it. So you're really asking us to do something just for a formality, not to really ask us for the approval, correct?
We're asking to spend our reserves that have been saved over the years in order
Right.
for us to be able to make these kind of improvements that come along in the Parks Department.
And so the city council really can't say, you know what, no, we don't want you to spend that, and then go back and you're going to change what the board has done, or even at that point, if the board hadn't said yes, they wouldn't then go, well, the council don't want us to, so we're not going to, correct? I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do, right? I mean, they're gonna approve what they want to do on their board. But what I'm saying is, we should have the chance as a council to have a recommendation. We should have that communication before they've already said, nope, this is what we're doing. They've already said, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. We haven't had a chance to talk about it or comment on it at all. That's why the procedures that I'm talking about are supposed to be followed so that we do, as a council, have a chance to comment or recommend what we see. And that's a big part of what we get from our staff and what we get from our city manager and our legal counsel. And you've taken that opportunity away from the council because they've already approved and voted to go forward, regardless of what we say, right?
I haven't taken anything away from the council. I've done it as the same manner as we've done for the last 6 or 7 years.
Okay, so at the next council meeting, can we have just a clear definition of how that communication is supposed to go? Okay, great. Thank you. Any motions on that one?
I'll move the
You passed
It's
the
a-
second
it's an
reading by
ordinance.
to be passed the second reading by title.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Renfro.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I meant the next one, right?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
okay.
So I can move on to the second reading.
This is an ordinance amending ordinance 5271, concerning the adopted annual budget for fiscal year 17 for the Parks and Recreation Fund as approved by the Warrensburg Parks and Recreation Board. This is for adoption or rejection. Johnston?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Renfro?
No. All right, other businesses and appearances miscellaneous. Item number 6, Warrensburg Art Commission, Art on Loan Sculpture Program.
Doty.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, tonight we have Jeff and Bowman, Kristen Cutler, and Gary Gillespie to speak to you about their project that they've been working on for a few months now. It's the Art on Loan Sculpture Program, and they have a presentation.
Good evening, thanks for letting us come in. Is this yours?
Yes.
Thank you. Come in this evening, and my name is Jeff Imboden, with the chair with the Arts Commission, your Arts Commission, and we do have Christian Cutler's helping me out this evening, Gary Grigsby, and Laura Lockhart is our newest commissioner on the Arts Commission, so we have a nice representation. So this was something that we had, this project we addressed the council, I believe, in the fall, and we called it the Art on Loan or Sculpture on Loan project. You know, we have been hearing for quite a while that we need some more public art out in the community. And this is something, a program that we've looked at, as I mentioned to you, I think in the fall. We looked at several cities and municipalities we talked to and looked at the programs that they had. And I think it's something that we absolutely can. We embraced it, and it worked very well for Warrensburg. It's a way to get into quite a bit of public art out in the community for not a lot of money up front. I think I may have talked in the fall about the fact that if you go and commission a new piece of artwork, like our blind boom sculpture in the park, Christian, you can correct me, you're probably looking at $75,000 for a piece like that. So this is something that, and I think it was in your packet that was distributed, where it was, okay, where we put a call out for artists who create sculptures. This is where we pay them a small stipend, and that was in our budget that you had approved October 1. Small stipend to loan a piece of art for us to place on our selected sites within the city, and for usually 11 to 12 months. Now, what we did in the agreement that we worked out with Doug, it's going to be a 12-month period. And so this is our first time with this project. We have enough money to have 6 sculptures, put out a call for 6 sculptures. So we put the program together after this council gave us a thumbs up and said go for it. We worked with the city attorney and we wrote up the agreements. We have the agreement. I think you got a copy of that as well, that we would have with the artist. The call for art, the plan is to go out next month, which is this week, isn't it? March. And we would love to get these pieces out by September. Now, I think in the piece that was given to you, it had a time frame, and it also had the budget for the project. Now, in that budget, it shows the stipend to the artist for 6 pieces, and it also shows special awards. There's a couple of special awards, best of, and that type of thing. What's not in there is some upfront costs, which we have already incurred, and that is the Parks Department made some concrete bases for us. We've already paid for those. They're ready to go. I think we've had 8 of them. And so those are already paid for, and there's some obviously installation costs and rental of some equipment and things like that, depending on how big the pieces are and getting them installed in the locations. So the project is ready to go. We have already met with the Parks Board last week. And what we'd like to do is show you, I'm gonna have Christian show you 10 locations, potential locations in town, and this is city property that these will be installed on, that we would have ready for the 6, okay? So that gives us some leeway, depending on the size and the type of the sculpture. You know, some are going to fit, you know, not everything will fit right out here on the corner of City Hall, right? So, the 4 locations of the 6, of the 10, I'm sorry, the 4 locations of the 10 were already approved by the Park Board last week. But Christian's gonna show you all 10 locations that we're proposing. And so what we're asking from the council tonight is to approve for us to go forward with the project and approve these potential locations for the sculptures. So,
Thank you. Just so you know, they're with only 6 sculptures. The sculpture would have to fit the location. So we've provided more locations than sculptures, just in case there might be a sculpture that didn't look right in the location or in one of these 10 locations. The photographs and these mock-ups are completely hypothetical. So you know, the images, these sculptures are pulled from the web. They are not. We have not received any submissions yet, so we don't know what we're going to get, and we may only get 4 pieces that are a good look for our city. So we'll see. But so first up is City Hall. Proposed location is right down in the front grass lawn area, and there's a mock-up of what it might look like. So second up is Compton Park, which is just behind the police station, has this brand new gazebo, and that is a great potential location for a sculpture. Lions Lake, another great potential location. Multiple places along Lions Lake, but we've pinpointed this main entry along Southwest that looks quite good for a sculpture. Next is the community center. We considered the very main entry of the community center, but there is already a historical column piece at the front, and we pinpointed this part on the eastern side of the property on Gay Street for a possible sculpture. This is West Park and West Pine near the sports fields. So that is a great location. That is a hideous sculpture, but that is a great location. This is Shepherd Park. So there are many potential locations at Shepherd Park. This is only one considered location. This is on the east, kind of southeast corner. The other western corner is also potential. So there is a mock-up for that. This is a potential location. We've heard that there might be some DOT issues with this, but nonetheless, if there were something amazing and we were able to figure out how to have a piece right near the Warrensburg entry on McGuire at 50, that would be great. This is Hawthorne Boulevard behind the movie theater roundabout. A very nice cul-de-sac, not cul-de-sac, roundabout area, already gravelled, great location for a large sculpture in that center area. This is Mitchell and Broad. Mitchell Street is very well traveled, especially with school traffic, and this site is a great location. Broad and Montserrat is also a city-owned location. This triangular piece of property would be a great location. And that is, those are the 10 locations that we've pinpointed that are city-owned that would be great sculptural locations. We have 2 other projects that we are actively working on, one of which is our mural project, which we brought to you last year. We have met with now 2 professional mural artists, mural managers, because it really does take a person with experience in wall murals to help manage and produce a mural. So we have started to budget for a public mural. We've talked about Washington and, is that right, Washington and Pine?
Colton?
Colton, thank you. Washington and Colton, just 1 block away from Pine, as a potential location on this city-owned warehouse building. We've had 2 different, like I said, 2 different artists come out. They've looked at the site, they've looked at the wall, and said that it is a pristine, perfect location for a mural, not very hard to produce. So we're looking at the budget, trying to figure it out. I produced this photoshopped image at the very top last year as a, as just an inspiration. These are 2 images from other cities here in Missouri, Blue Springs, and I forget where the Missouri Wall of Fame image with Mark Twain is, but these are great examples of what we could potentially have over on that wall. The other public art project that we're looking at, which is a very, very low-cost project, is a painted public piano project. The public piano project would bring in donated pianos for a short period of time, mostly the summer months, into public locations where people could, and we're thinking mostly about downtown, where people could come up freely and play the piano, enjoy music, provide some public sound art, and so this is something we are considering bringing to Warrensburg. Everything from baby grands to these standalone pianos that would be painted and provided to the public.
This might be a silly question. Is it indoor or outdoor, the pianos?
They're outdoor. We did talk to the park board last week about the gazebos that we have, which would work well, Blind Boone, and there's actually one in Grover and a couple other places. So we talked about those just to protect, but that one's just like that one, that's sitting out downtown somewhere on a sidewalk.
Probably Arizona. There's not a lot of rain.
Probably Arizona. And they're not meant to last a long time. Sometimes you can put them on wheels and wheel them inside, for the winter or whatever. So, yeah, we actually have, Gary Grigsby can tell you, we have, how many pianos have we had donated so far?
4 or 5.
Okay. And we're still looking for more.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a project that could happen pretty quick because we already have some pianos in storage in the city's building that he just showed you over on Colton. Yeah. The other thing that we need to tell this group very quickly too is that we had a grand piano donated to us from the Skip O'Hara family.
Yes.
Gary, do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yes. Skip O'Hara is a retired Air Force person. He's living in Warrensburg, passed away last year, I believe. His daughter contacted me and had the grand piano, and it was Skip's aunt's piano. And I had looked at it previously with Skip to move it to the daughter's house. She did not want to acquire it, and so she wanted to get it out of the house when the house sold. So we discussed the possibility of a public location for us to put the piano. When we got the piano, I did some cleaning on it. It actually turned out to be a pretty nice looking wood finish, a burled finish wood. So Dr. Guy came and worked on the soundboard, cleaned the soundboard. We'll be working on the action. We moved it today. Carlisle Van Lines donated the move for us and moved it to the Veterans Home. It's in the chapel, and after it acclimates, 2 to 3 weeks, Dr. Guy will go and tune it and do some finishing tweaking on the action, and then it'll be ready for use in the Veterans Home.
We were really glad to find a home for it, and that's a great place for that piano.
If we have any artists, if we have any artists on the city council, we could bring one of our
Next time you
pianos
play.
to paint.
Yeah,
Well, we
oh,
could,
there we
right,
go.
no, piano to
Oh,
paint
yeah.
and from the city council,
Yeah.
we could do that.
Yeah, right here in the middle. Those are the three that are really ready to go, those projects. But tonight, obviously, we're ready to go Wednesday on the Sculpture on Loan program. All these projects we have budgeted for this year. So we're not asking for any more funding. We have the funds for all the projects. We just, any questions about the?
Only question that I had was, and I looked through here and I didn't find it, and it's something that we had talked about, the insurance on the public art on loan.
Right.
Do we carry that insurance? Does the artist carry the insurance? How does that?
That's in the agreement, Doug. We wrote that in there. Of course, we put all the whole harmless agreements and all those things in there. The liability, the
Risk of loss is on the artist.
Right.
Yeah.
For the
They own-
piece, the public liability for anyone that's interacting with the piece would remain with the city because it's the city's real estate.
So if it falls on them or something like that, it'd still be us. But if they vandalize it, then it would be the artist insurance that comes into play there.
Right.
Okay. Makes sense.
Depending on the size of these sculptures, is there any way to get a standard pad that Public Works might be able to deal with? As far as, in terms of depth, what are we anticipating for weight?
Right. Well, what we're gonna do this time, and we're kinda new to this, but we do have the expertise of Christian. He's in charge of the sculptures on campus.
Mhm.
And Guy Albert actually worked on this project as well. The pads that we formed are, I think in there, they're 4 foot by 4 foot by 6 inch. So what we do is we give those dimensions to the artist. And we say, this is what you have this year.
Okay.
So, and then we would, you know, depending on what their sculpture's made of, the bottom of it, then we would put in the bolts or things to attach it to the concrete base. But we give them the dimensions of the base, what they have. So yes, you know, as we are judging those pieces, we have to be careful.
Right.
Yeah, because that's not gonna hold a huge,
Right.
huge piece, but.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's something that next year, if we start getting submissions of really large pieces that would fit well out there on North McGuire, then we could have a larger base for that.
I think this is really neat. I think
Yeah.
I'm on the tourism board too, and I think this is the kind of stuff we talk about, wanting to drive people to Warrensburg. I think the pianos in the streets, I don't know a lot about pianos, but if Gary says they're good, you guys say they're good, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old will be thrilled. She can Mary had a little lamb all day.
Yeah, that's right.
We just set up pianos in Knoxville. We just went and picked them up off Craigslist. A lot of times people will say, if you come pick it up, it's yours.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no cost other than picking it up. And, you know, in the humidity in the Midwest, you're looking to get a year, maybe 2 years out of it before it's really unplayable. But if it's free, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But again, if you'd like to see a public display of it, Google Play Me On Yours. And they actually do an international tour going around and playing on public pianos.
Hmm.
And some really cool videos and elements of community interaction with these pianos.
I think it's something really unique. People would say like, oh yeah, you have to go to Warrensburg and check that out.
Yeah, we can have those pianos out this summer, ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, we'll probably, when the weather's good, we'll have some Saturday, and we'll have some elementary kids come in and some local artists come in and just have a day of painting
That's
the
neat.
pianos. Have a little contest, we'll be very ready to go.
And one thing that you just reminded me of is I've been doing a lot of research, and we've actually heard publicly from other cities in Warrensburg who are using a free application called AutoCast, O-T-O, AutoCast, and it is something that we are looking at implementing for the public sculpture collection, as well as any sort of other viewable or usable art like the pianos. It's a free app that a tourist or anybody who's a Warrensburg visitor can download, and it gives you a map and location and description of each object, whether it be the sculptures or the pianos. And the neat thing about it is the auto cast part. It's an audio tour of the sculpture collection or the pianos, where the artists themselves are recorded talking about the art piece. So you can go and stand in front of that art piece and press the play button and listen to the artist talking about what that piece is all about, why it's yellow, why it's giant, why it looks like a child holding balloons, whatever.
Will there be anywhere in the budget to have a sign outside the sculpture that says anything about that?
In the budget is what we call an identification plaque,
Okay.
which will show, the name of the artist and the name of the piece.
And it would be easy to add a QR code or a link code
Yeah.
for anyone who wanted to download the app instantly.
Yeah, and we see that project as a partnership between the city and the university and tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And we can easily, double the amount of sculptures in this town. You have how many on campus, 11 or 12?
We have about
And-
13, yes.
And then our existing ones, plus these 6, all of a sudden, we have a destination. So if people are coming in on Amtrak, staying here for a day, you give them the app on their phone, and they're walking around Warrensburg.
Okay. I think all the locations are pretty awesome. I like all of them except for the roundabout. I think that's a really dangerous spot. I know that's not a very fast traffic area, but on DD Highway, people go through the center of those monthly. I mean,
Right.
so I don't know if that's the best spot.
Yeah, we did think about that, and that's it's a 3-point, it's not.
Yeah, right.
It's not a 4-point.
And it's not fast traffic. They're
Yeah,
not going quick, but.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah, height of objects of these sculptures is definitely being considered. Climbability is a factor. Sharp edges. So all of those things are being considered as we, when we go to the judging process.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's exciting. That's pretty neat stuff. Good work.
Thank you.
Very nice. Any other questions? Do we need to, is there anything, got our thumbs up?
Well, I think that particularly the locations, because we have to put the call out, and we're gonna put it out worldwide, basically. But we need to make sure that we have those locations available potentially.
I think as a council, maybe we'll defer to Doty and Slim and city manager as far as those locations, especially with the Parks Board or on the parks grounds,
Right.
and where they're wanting them. And then Slim and Harold, I think, need to maybe, I don't know if the council necessarily needs to say yay or nay on all of those locations, but I think we can leave it up to staff.
I would have apprehension to having one in the roundabout up on Hoffman. We've had vehicles go through there several times,
Mhm.
so it's put in, they tend to run pretty quick coming from the
Jeeps and
south
4x4s,
to the
yeah.
north,
Right.
on there. I live next to the roundabouts out on the highway also.
So it turns into the straight about instead of.
That's what it does. But we've had to make repairs to that roundabout because of accidents out there. I just have fear that not only that the art would be damaged, but somebody could be having
A
it.
vehicle, yeah.
So we can take that off the list, it's not a problem.
We already mentioned the concern for the MoDOT
Mhm.
approvals for McGuire. But assuming you can work through that and get that, I mean, that would be a great entrance piece to the community.
Yeah, it would.
Absolutely. Particularly if we get the right piece
Mhm.
submitted, if we get a big piece submitted that would just fit perfect there, then we can come back to the city and say, let's talk to MoDOT and see.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 7, authorization to pursue grants with MoDOT. Rich.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the Police Department is going to be participating in MoDOT's 2017 Highway Safety Grant Program. The awards were made fall of 17 into 18's budget year. As part of that process, they asked that we have a form signed by the members of the City Council saying that you've discussed our participation in the grant and that you're supportive of that. In our situation, we're asking for equipment. We're trying to get a rollover vehicle. I don't know if you've seen those. It's basically a chassis of a vehicle, and you can simulate what a rollover would do to people who aren't wearing seatbelts in the car. And we're hoping to have this as a static display at city events and public events. And we're asking for some radar units as well. So the purpose of the support from the council is if you have salary costs or ongoing costs, that you would support that if funding should dry up from MoDOT. In our case, this will be a one-time hit. MoDOT will give us all the money. We won't have any ongoing costs, but they still require the form to be signed, saying that you support that. And we also we have started participating in all the MoDOT traffic safety campaigns. I know you've probably seen some of that in the newspaper. So they're excited about our participation in these programs again, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to get this grant here for these pieces of equipment. So we're asking that you guys authorize us to pursue the grants with MoDOT, and I think just so you have the forms in.
I just did,
We'll
got
get-
it out.
Okay, fantastic. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? This is just a formality question. Can we commit the other two council members to sign this paper, or do we need
I could,
to? I know
well,
you.
if you
I'm
all,
just saying,
if
can
it's
we-
unanimous, I could get them to sign it later.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Then do we have a motion? Do we need a motion?
I think it'd probably be better.
Authorization, just move to
Say
approve.
move to
Yeah.
approve.
Mhm.
I think after 3 years, I'd know.
Johnston,
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Renfro.
But yes. Awesome.
Just sign it.
City managers report. Harold.
I've been trying to think of something, I don't have anything further to report.
Whatever. You
It's
got a
already in the
KU
report.
game coming up. Whatever. We all
Yeah,
know.
when's the next
Whatever.
one?
Huh?
When's the next KU game?
In 15 minutes.
Oh, no. Better hurry up.
So stretch it, people. Stretch it.
I have-
All right. Nothing at all. Director of Finance. We only want good news, please. Joking.
Well, we have some good news. We're releasing the annual budget photo contest on Wednesday. So,
Is that the good news?
Yeah. We're hoping to get more than 3 pictures this year.
That's right. There we go.
And so that would be great. But on the other side of the good news is our revenues seem to be, I don't know if this is a turning point or something, but at all times revenues go up and down, and we were on the ride for about 6 years of increasing revenues. And now it seems like it's either halting or, it could be plateauing. We had another down month. That's not to say that the year, we still have 7 more months left to go, so that possibly turn it around, but as it looks right now, that it could be a plateau year or maybe even a down year.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Have we heard anything more about Amazon?
Basically.
I paid 8.35% sales tax the other day on
Ooh.
Amazon, so I would
We're not getting into
think.
that.
It depends on what you buy. You can pay as much as the 8.75. You can pay the whole 8.35.
8.35.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was ironic, because it's exactly 8.35.
Yeah, you can pay that, or you could, some items you just pay the use tax on.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on what you're buying and where it's
Right.
coming from.
Right now, it's all going to state. Nothing's going to local, right?
No, we're getting.
We are getting
when,
some?
When you get charged the 8.35, we're getting all of it. We're getting our basic pieces of sales tax, use tax.
Awesome.
Because we
Oh,
have
that's
the use
good.
tax in place.
Yes.
Awesome. That could help things. Is there a way we can kind of start to just look at is there a way we can report what that's doing? I mean, if we can start now just to kind of see what's happening and maybe where the
Yeah.
growth is on that?
I'll look to see if I can tell where
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
money's coming through it.
That'd be awesome.
The thing with Amazon is they sell different retailers, products, and different things like that. I don't know if it's gonna come through on the sales tax report as Amazon
Right,
or
okay.
something else, but I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
You can track trends, you can't track individual retailers.
Yeah.
Right. Lawyer always has to have some say, don't they?
Couldn't report.
Could you track just all online sales?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, there's
Oh, they don't?
unless they have some kind of SIC code, but I haven't seen an online SIC
Oh,
code.
okay.
We'll have to look at the data and see
Yeah.
what's permissible to
Yeah.
come back
Yeah.
to be extracted.
Right.
Because last week was the first time I've noticed that sales tax charge.
Boom.
I paid it myself.
There it is. Not shopping locally, I see both of you. No.
There's nowhere else in town to get 2,500 Nerf bullets.
Oh, Walmart carries them. What are you talking about?
2,500 of them.
Just order them. Ms. Bond.
There will be a downtown meeting with Retail Coach tomorrow evening here in the council chambers at 5:30. This is the report out specifically about how to use the information and tools that they have to look at who our downtown customer is, what brands they look for, etc. So this is that piece of the contract.
Slim.
We're working with the contractor to try to get Lake Ridge Culvert opened up as soon as possible. We're waiting on test back on the concrete, make sure it's reached proper break strength on that. They are working to do the grading, to replace sidewalk and some curb step over that area. The utility companies have taken some out and they are replacing those pieces in there. So we hope as soon as we get a good break test, we get that street opened up. We also heard today, we got some good news from MoDOT that Spirit Trail folks have been given the go-ahead to bid March 2nd, and with bid opening on March the 30th. So we hope that project gets started out in the county mid to late summer.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, Lake Ridge, that's coming along. Good job. That's nice. And I think we said April is what we were shooting for, right? Isn't that the date we gave?
Well, we were shooting for a lot of earlier.
Oh, just go with me on that.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Randy, sir.
No, sir.
Tanya.
Just okay, I want to make sure we did have some members of the Diversity and Inclusion Task Force here earlier for the proclamation, so I just wanted to check to make sure no one's still here. But we did have them here, so it's good to have their representation. But I don't think that I have anything additional except for which I don't think we take any action on this today, but if we're looking for putting bond issue things in the newspaper. In 2007, there were some ads that were written in the newspaper, so just something you guys want to start thinking about. If you want to put it in the paper, we want to do that before April. So we can talk about that more next time when it's here.
All right. Thank you. Greg?
Nothing additional?
Doug?
Nothing additional.
Chief? Chief?
Nothing, thank you.
Doug? Anything? Bob?
I've attended the, help me with the name
Fair and
again.
Impartial Policing.
Fair and Partial Policing Conference. Invited me to attend. Excellent conference. A lot of good information came out of it. Our chief, CMSU's chief of police, as well as the county sheriff, actually hosted, I would say, the conference. Good cross-section of police representation and city stakeholders. Good conference.
Cindy?
Bates Community Council, can you go?
It's
It's on
rescheduled for
it's
what?
on the 8th, yeah.
I might be able to, yes. I'll get with you here.
Okay, I need to know by tomorrow morning. They're
I'll
getting a
tell you.
little strict. Okay.
They're coming after me.
They're getting very strict about it. Since we had computer problems on my list was kind of
That's right.
small, but
You can
also
add it to
the
us.
pathways.
Yes.
Okay.
Pathways grand opening is March.
March 6th from 11 to 2.
It's 11 to 2. It's March 6th, which is a Monday.
And, I wanted to mention the sales tax green holiday is coming up. It is April the 19th.
Yay, but no, not yay.
I know,
I mean,
April
all for it, but
19th and
not really.
25th. And I just, since we have a couple of new council members, I wanted you all to know that a couple of years ago, we passed an ordinance to go ahead and participate each year. If we don't want to participate, we have to let the state know. And they need to know about 45 days in advance, so we're getting real close this time.
It's the 19th and the 25th?
Through the 25th.
Through the 25th. And that's right.
It's on Energy Star products.
Oh, okay.
Up to $1,500. So, I want to be sure you all are okay and
Oh, it's
just,
not the tax-free weekend.
no,
Oh,
no, that's in
okay.
August.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
This is
That's
just the
what I was
green,
doing.
green sales tax.
Cool.
So just want
Very
you all to
good.
be aware of it.
Anything else? All right, we are adjourned. Or do we need to move to adjourn? No, we're done. We're adjourned. No close after this. KU's down by 4 already. That's not good.
I heard it was 8.
8 already? Wow, wow.
We're dragging better tonight.
Don't leave.
I'm not.
Oh, I just passed that over to you.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
I'm shocked. I thought you had it back by.
So, FYI,
You want me to call you for a standing
Yes,
report?
please.
the budget amendment, since we had one no vote.
Yeah, it won't
failed.
go. Right.
It failed.
You know. Thank you.
Write that down.
It's not gonna do anything.
Capital C.
No, but yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Because did you hear him? He started to knock.
First and last.
Well, yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
That's all right. I've been here that long.
Yeah, 2,500. I think I have 48 kids signed up for that, just for the older group. The younger
Well,
group is like
none of
20
the others
something.
had ordinances. Yeah, I put that.
Yeah. I'm gonna be, jujitsu room and batting cages will be refill stations. I think we're gonna be finding bullets for like a year.
I'm sure you might still find it in my house all the time.
Yes, we do too. Yeah, I'm shocked how many kids are doing this thing. Yeah, 15 for the little kids right now.
48. How much?
Yeah, 50. I'm only taking 50. Originally, I was only going to take 30, and it filled up in like the first couple of days. I had 30, so. I know. Yeah, I've got, oh, not 48, 44. I got 6 slots, and then we're done.
And I just left her a message like that.
Let me call you in the morning.
That sounds good.
And then both of them are absolutely. Oh, no, we're strong.
The 8th, April 8th. Oh, well, I'm sorry, March 8th. That's the BCC. And I think right now, Harold and Danielle. Yeah.
All good.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
You like those 8 hours.
Were you mentioning the pathways thing? You just want to let us know, or would you like me to go?
Oh, no. I mean, I think you should be there, but it's.
Oh, no, yeah.
No, I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
Okay. I think. I'll find out for sure tonight and then I'll know. But
Yeah.
Brian will be there for me if I
Sure,
But if
sure.
he can't do it, hey.
Okay.
Good. This is my first time here.
Well, you came to a short one. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, nice of you to be here. I appreciate it, man. Did you just move into the area or?
It's been a year and a half.
Okay,
Almost
all
2
right.
years. So.
First one. Well, we are now recording our meetings, so you can go to our YouTube channel and see them. They're not live.
Yeah,
You
we're
can
not
watch them
on TV.
afterwards now too. So transparency there. Well, hey, thanks for coming up. It's nice to meet you, man.
Same here. Same here.
How are you? Good to see you.
Cindy Gable. Nice to meet you.
Talking to the finance weekend, maybe once you send me a data, we can do a nice I did a study for Nebraska for the whole state.
Holy cow.
State published, but trying to do the same thing for Missouri, but we'll see if that gets done. But I can do it for the city and see what the trends are. A relative basis, the only difference is widely used what it basically does is it basically calculates your per capita sales or sales tax for the city or any other locality compared with the state to see if they're more or less and what the trends have been. And you can do if the data goes back to see because like things like usage, how much we can be off. So
You know what?
Well, that would be a huge value of help right now. We are 70% of the sales tax as a city, and so we're trying to find out what revenue streams or how to look at sales tax differently. So any of that stuff, and I know that they're looking at calculations of data and trying to. Now we have Amazon maybe starting to kind of what that's going to do. So yeah, it is. Are you with the university? Yes. Okay. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. And are you with the university as well?
No, I actually work for the City of Police Summit. I'm the
Oh,
city
okay.
planner there.
Oh, okay. So you know Denise Chisholm, I'm sure.
Oh,
The city
yes.